stakeholder, what hat are they wearing? Is it are they beneficiaries? Are they stakeholders, just stakeholders? Are they financiers through taxes? And also, you develop KPIs for every stakeholder. What they need you to what they need to see to make sure what education has reached the local wananchi. So there's a lot of data that is in IBC, lying in IBC, that I can draw a lot of insights from, like the voter register. I can be able to analyze and make sure and see what category of people is lacking behind in voter registering as voters. So we are able to put more of the finances in voter education in that particular group. So this will be a model that it will be interactive, comprehensive, and progressive, in that for every indicator we have data that supports this and is effective implementation, so that that particular stakeholder or that particular stakeholder can see that we were at this baseline, and now we have been educated. And what has happened is that this group of people have now more of them have registered as voters. We were at 20%, we are now at 30%. So on technology, maybe I can just touch on technology. In technology, SPA, results-based management, technology is very expensive, and if we don't make sure that every technology, because we should analyze what type of technology will come and help us do what. And if it is a technology for the BVR keys for registration of voters, if it is the KIMS kit used during the election, we want to know the use of this technology and what we can use as our funds to make sure that we only only procure technology that is helping us to solve a certain IT issue, also facilitate us to produce credibly and fair elections in a fair manner. And
I think that's okay. I think the two examples you've given are sufficient.
Thank you.
So I wish you well, and thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Masibu.
Thank you. I want to invite Evans Misati to ask you some questions. Evans, please.
Thanks so much, Chair. Sadiki.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to ask you a very simple question.
Yes, thank you.
From statistics, in the 2022 general elections, we had total registered voters around 14,200,000.
Total?
The total registered votes, 14 million.
There's 22 million.
Yes.
Not
now,
14.
The ones who turned out to vote, around 14 million.
14, yes, yes.
Now, there are those who did not turn to vote, but they were not registered. When you had such a number, it becomes almost 16, 17 million. Now, in our democracy, how will you rate that? The number of people who turned out to vote vis-a-vis the number of people who are total who are reachable to vote in Kenya.
Thank you. The number of registered voters were 22 million. The number who turned out was 14 million.
Yes.
But
and there are those who did not vote because they were not registered. So when you totalize that,
that's like 7 million or 6 million.
Yes.
We talk about the the equality to vote, and also the universal suffrage. And when you have a bigger number of people who did not turn out as voters, you must know why they did not turn out to exercise the democratic right. And having a lot of people not turning out begs a question that maybe because the issue is the trust in IBC and the confidence, and also the things that happen in the polling day, violence. People are afraid maybe they might be harmed. People think that the election results have already been declared somewhere. So one of the things
that's good. That's a good. That's good. Now, if you are given an opportunity and you are an IPC commissioner, because this assumption that information in public, are you able to do anything to ensure that the information that Kenyans have out there is authentic in regards to that aspect of voting? Because why would somebody say he's not coming out to vote because he thinks elections have been declared somewhere? Because today, as a panel, we are conducting interviews today.
Yes.
But on social media yesterday, it was already showing that we had already completed the interviews and we have sent the names. So as a commissioner, what will you do to ensure that such information going out to the public in a negative way is averted?
Yeah, I thank you. One of the things, Chair, that is very important is, you see, and this is why I ask myself so many questions. During election mood, the electioneering period, we have a lot of polls, and giving us some percentage that maybe 44%, excuse me, of voters I think that IBC will be credible in this election. Excuse me. So I think there's a need to make sure that we give information to the public. And one of the things that like I mentioned, I was talking to Wakili here, is self-evaluation. If you have data in your disposal that you are doing well, or that the percentage of how the percent of people are getting outside and then the IBC offices is different from what you have. For example, what I said that I'll be able to make sure we self-evaluate ourselves through a feedback system. We will make sure that we give information to the public, contrary to what is may be given by the media and the social medias. That is contrary to the image of the Commission. And I'll make sure that we give this information constantly, because these people need to get the right information before they give out the wrong information. And it is very key that before you because one of the things that in the election day is fake news. You can be told that a candidate has declared that they're not running again, and this is your candidate. You want to go to for election. People come to election day only to vote for one person, maybe MP, but because they have 6 ballots, they have to vote anyway on the other ballots. So, if any intimidation and false news they get in the very morning, they might as well not turn out to vote. So there are a lot of things that cause apathy to voters. So fake information, intimidation, violence, mistrust to IBC, and so many.
Thanks so much, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I want to ask Ms. Fatuma Saman to ask you some questions. Fatuma, please.
Thank you very much, Chair. Sadiq, please tell the panel why stakeholder mapping is so essential in managing elections. Why is stakeholder mapping very important in managing elections?
Thank you. Thank you for the question. Stakeholder mapping is very important in election, civic education and voter education. In that you will know, when you do stakeholder the mapping, you will know which stakeholder needs what kind of information, and what also secondly you will know which stakeholder can be found using what mechanisms. If it is the social media, if for youth you can use social media, for people who are women and disability you can use other mechanisms. So social stakeholder mapping is very important, because you will know if it is a source, how well can you engage them, the systems and the mechanisms that you're going to engage them. If it is PWD, they have their own ways of being engaged. That is be effective, and also if it is if they are women and other special groups like the youth, you can engage them through the social media. So having stakeholder mapping is essential, like data collection. It's a data collection tool that will make you know that a certain stakeholder, I am maybe, for example, the kind of information that you are going to give to your youth who has a lot of information from social media is not the information that you can give to women, because every different kind of stakeholder has some deficit information. So you will know by how much can I make sure that I engage political parties. By how much can I make sure that I engage women? By how much can I make sure that I engage the youth? And it is also important, but that you'll be able to know how how much resources you want to put into this exercise, because every stakeholder engagement it is very costly. And some of the things that you'll realize when you do stakeholder mapping is that you can use some low-hanging fruits that can never be as cost as it could have been if I had not done the mapping. So especially like social media, perhaps like the youth in this country don't want to be told. These days, they want to be heard. So where do we meet them? We meet them in the social media spaces. And like I said, I gave an example of the performance contracting that I'll propose, the targets that the CCs will be signing, is that they will have to do partnerships with the social media influencers to get the youth. So you'll do this, all these strategies and targets. You'll make them after you've done the stakeholder mapping, so that you know how much you can budget, and by how much the deficit is needed of information to this stakeholder as opposed to this other stakeholder. So thank you. I think I've answered your question.
Yes, you have.
Sorry, I stammer a lot, so.
It's okay. I've gotten everything you said.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I wish you well. Back to you, Chair.
Shukran.
Thank you. I want to ask Nicodemus Bode to also ask you some questions. Nicodemus, please.
Thank you, Bakari from, I saw you went to a school in Kilifi. It's called Sokote.
Yes, Sokote Secondary School. It was
and it's a very, it's a low school in Kilifi.
It was even lower when I attended than
and you
now.
Scored a B.
Yes, and with mathematics, A in mathematics. And I scored also an A in mathematics in primary school.
Yes.
I'm very proud to mention that, because it is the background and the fundamental foundation of my statistics and M&E career. as today we speak.
So that is, I want to congratulate you for that, coming
Thank
from
you.
that very low school and scoring a B.
Thank you.
I'm sure if you had been given a chance and if your parent had enough resources to go to a provincial school that you had been invited, maybe you'll have scored better.
Can you imagine I was the first one?
In Sokoto Primary, in Sokoto Secondary School?
Yeah.
Or in Kilindi?
That question has been addressed, like Honorable Manduku. He had already expressed that he may want to step out.
Since
it's allowed.
It's related, it's just 2 minutes.
Can. But now maybe there is a Sigei had asked a question, and I'm sure he had asked on behalf of many Kenyans. That at times we can have some chiefs who are probably interdicted based on maybe allegation of some fake certificates. Later, maybe the court establish the opposite. And it takes a lot of time or forever to have them reinstated. In fact, to give an example, CS, in my own county of Narok, and I'm sure even Beverly knows, there's one chief who unfortunately died on Friday. He just collapsed, heart attack, died. I wanted to, that chief, and Beverly know, somebody, Grandpa or somebody, you know, he has been actually, I think, coming to the office. This chief was interdicted on allegation of fake certificates. Of course, even another chief was put in his place. They went to court, verification of papers were done, and the opposite was confirmed. I think out of those frustration or something and all that related, on Friday, when actually he was attending the wedding of his daughter, I think he got some heart complication, pressure went up, and he died. We are going to bury him on Friday. We cannot able to say maybe that was the cause, but you never rule out. So Sigei is talking on behalf of many, many, many Kenyans who could be undergoing the same. Actually, Kramba, Bifali, you remember, Bifali, no, Kramba, he died. Yeah.
So, Chair, I think the case of Ambassador Sigei is Mr. Kitu, right? Yes, and I'm told that his case is still ongoing in the Public Service Commission as a disciplinary issue. Mr. Chair, you know sometimes, let me be very honest, you know sometimes we all know that this chief is indisciplined or some way has committed certain, let me use sins so that I don't use legal, some sins in the village. But to provide the evidence in court may be very difficult. And even there may be no witnesses who go to court. But you can tell as a public officer that if this chief continues to be in office, either sexual offenses are not being dealt with in that area, or he is also being suspected of a similar offense, or is a drunkard, you know, but by virtue of court processes, he remains around, and illicit brews and all that are all going in a particular place. So the challenge is that, yes, you can have a court order saying this person is not, is okay, is not guilty, and so forth. Sometimes we may have to think of maybe giving them even some different clerical work elsewhere to just meet the same concerns you raised earlier, that person must meet certain threshold of integrity when serving in a particular locality. So there has to be a room of some level of discretion without so much vindictiveness on how to deploy such people after they succeed even with a court process to shield the community. Because if that person already had a case and some people are witnesses in their community and so forth, you can see that even his performance is going to be hampered. So maybe we need to have that kind of discretion, maybe even monetary compensation or something for the period of their contract, so that you free and get a chief. As I said earlier, in some areas, it might have been nice in some areas to basically, if it was possible, if our election process was fair and influenced with money, by money and so forth, it would have been even the best for communities to vote for a chief. I'm telling you the truth, because that is a person that must garner the support, the highest number of the people in the location or sub-location.
Exhaust the follow-up question, they're related. So that we dispense this question and you go to the next.
Yeah, the one for Kureso is just straightforward. I'll read it. I don't see Honorable Tonu here, but And I think I also responded to this question on the floor. Somebody did a follow-up. So just no wonder the MP is not here because I already answered him on the floor. But for the record, the currently, wait a minute, this is for number 5, so I meant number 4. Number 4. On number 4, Mr. Chair, so yes, thank you. Mr. Chair, person to powers conferred under Section 14 of National Government of Nation Act. I think I answered this question, Chair, on the floor. So let me not reread it.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Out of the 13 or 11,
yeah.
2 already dispensed of.
I answered
you
that.
You did respond on the floor.
And then,
question from Honorable Koech and one from the Kuresoi.
I don't know if I answered Chepalungu. I don't remember. The one for Victor, which is also 1 page. Mr. Chair, let me just read. A member of Parliament of Chepalungu constituency, Victor Koech, requested regarding a statement regarding the operationalization of administrative units in his constituency, particularly status of operationalization of Chebunya and Kongasis divisions, report on the delay in operationalization of gazetted units and timelines for activation, and measure taken to align administrative boundaries in the affected areas to ensure constituency with political boundaries, particularly in Nyangores ward, to avoid residents being disadvantaged during recruitment. Currently, number 1, Mr. Chair, is that currently Chepalungu sub-county has 2 existing divisions, that is Sigor and Siongiroi. Divisions, the gazetted administrative units in the said sub-counties are as follows. We have Chepalungu, Chepunyo division, which is Tilangok locations and Nogirwet sublocation. We have Kongasis division. We have, these are the locations, Tilangok, Kamongil, Koimiret, Kabisoke, Kapole Seroi, and Kabolwa. And then locations are Nogirwet, Kamasiro, Kamotio, Sokoror Bay, Kipkuror, Mukenyi, Kapsayalel, Kablele, Kimatisio, Kimananga, Kosia, Chebelion, Ak Labotiet. At the moment, the ministry has not received a budgetary allocation to facilitate operation of all gazetted administrative units across the country. Mr. Chair, report on the delay in operationalization of gazetted units and timelines for activation. The current financial year 2024-2025 budget for the ministry is unable to accommodate operationalization of the gazetted administrative units. However, once National Treasury allocates funds for the operationalization of these units, the ministry will prioritize and implement the operationalization of administrative units, including those of Chepalungu sub-county. Critical measures taken to align administrative boundaries in the area affected to ensure consistency with political boundaries, particularly in Nyangores ward, to avoid residents being disadvantaged during recruitment. A critical principle for creation of administrative units is bringing service closer to the public. However, should residents decide to align administrative units to existing political boundaries, the same should be subject to public participation, and the ministry will take necessary administrative action. I actually had a one-on-one conversation with the MP on this issue. The disadvantage of part of the administrative units are in Chepalungu constituency and part are in Bomet East, was it Bomet Central? So, and we have already told him to commence the process of public participation so that we can align it with administrative or political units. So, Chair, I think those are the only relevant questions. I think the question of administrative units was really exhaustively discussed on the floor in terms of timelines, operationalization, division, sub-counties, and so forth. So allow me to close in that topic.
So,
that issue.
CS, as you close that topic, for the purpose of record and Kenyans who are actually following and interested in this, you remember quite well that, of course, why you were called, and it was the first one because it became a very common everyday question in Parliament. And it became very clear the problem has been always about budgetary. And was the committee who actually oversight the ministry, the rough budget to operationalize all gazetted units stand at around 2.4 billion. I think the PS, when he represented you, said so. And I don't know whether you remember or you acted. The speaker did make a ruling that day, or a directive, that now you tabulate all the units that were pending operationalization, attach the budget, so that between the ministry and us as parliament, we think and work around on mobilizing resources to have these issues sorted and once for all. I think that was put as requested by the speaker or directed, and it's 3 weeks. We have not received the same. And you know we are making commitment to hear Kenyans.
Yes. Mr. Chair, the truth is that that information was not submitted during the budget process. But I will replug it and submit to the Speaker's office. But it is within your purview and the budgetary process already. Even when the PS appeared before you, he appeared with the documentation on the same issue. So maybe for just avoidance of doubt, we can resubmit at the end of the day today or tomorrow morning for just avoidance of doubt. But in terms of our budgetary request for 2025, 2026, that information is fully supplied for purpose to support the budgetary process.
Just for record, because even the Speaker directed, you can either through direct or through the committee. Let's have that report through the committee, enumerating all the units and the budgetary gaps, so that we within Parliament also, as an appropriating institution, we can see how to help us.
I'll do that latest tomorrow morning.
Okay. Lastly, before you leave there, Kenyans, I don't want to. There is some pronouncements you did make on the issue of promotion of graduate chiefs to either principal chief or ACC. Do you have a policy to support that? And if yes or no, what were you insinuating really, and what is the plan toward the same? And secondly, so that you can able to just respond to that, you know, Kenyans are even writing. They're following. I think on the issue of administrative units, when the peers appeared on your behalf before this committee, so that we dispense this question, we listed several units that at least there's some level of plan to include the 24 sub-counties, the 100-something divisions. It is now a month. Where have we reached in the operationalization, the posting of such officers to this unit, so that Kenyans can be able to get the services? Maybe you can respond to the two, then we take you to the next question.
Let me, for the promotion of the ACCs, yes, of the chiefs to ACCs, yes, Mr. Chair, it's already happening, but in small bits. But what we have agreed is that when we advertise the next lot of ACCs, we will ring fence a certain number for the chiefs. Say if you do 100 ACCs, we agree after consultation that we'll do 30 be given to chiefs who meet the qualification, so that they can feel, Mr. Chair, that they will be encouraged. It will encourage them for as long as they meet the minimum qualifications. The same way all other adverts in other ministries require these positions are reserved for those who are applying internally, and then the rest is externally. So it doesn't need new policy. It is within the framework of public service requirement, but we will now be deliberate to say that this number can go to chiefs, and this number goes to new cadets or new graduates who come from outside the public service sector itself. That, and also in the revision of the policy, we have agreed, based on my public engagement with and the feedback from the chiefs in the Coast region after visiting the 6 counties, we think that it's important now in this review process to have clarity on scheme of service progression. Even for a chief, even if he's not going to be an ACC, they should not stagnate at the place where they were hired perpetually. There has to be a scheme of service that by the time he's retiring at 60, is at a higher level of payment, but also he has been promoted accordingly. So then design which courses must you get at a certain stage, and so forth. Again, that is an area, and unlike the case where it has been that someone is assistant chief from and earning the same amount for 10 years, 15 years, and so forth. The same feedback I got from the SCCs. The SCCs have also stagnated for a long period of time as SCCs, basically because we're all saying, okay, if you promote them, which sub-counties are they going to head, and so forth. But there are many places in public service where the SCCs can serve at the rank of DCC. Again, we want to make sure that that is smooth and clear. This is in line with our objective to make sure that there is high morale and there is fairness, there is equity in the public service itself, Mr. Chair. And this was really part of the feedback I got, or we got as a ministry when we went for these public engagements with our officers across the 6 counties that we have visited as at now.
Actually, just so that you respond to that, there is even an anonymous officer who has written, Honorable Mheshimiwa Chair, we are following the proceeding with the CS. Please ask him some question on delay in promotions. Some officers have stayed in one job group for 7 years. That's SCCs. Also, when it comes to training, of course, which guarantees them a career progression, there is a lot of biasness. For example, diploma courses, which is organized by the government, officers employed in 2015 have not attended the Kenya government School of Government. Yet officers employed in 2021 have been taken.
Mr. Chair, if you saw my, again, for people who followed the public engagement we had in Coast, the SCC Barasa in Kilifi, for example, made a very passionate presentation, which, Mr. Chair, because he was an SCC in my county when I started politics in 2013, he compared my career progression to his. Mr. Chair said that he saw me campaigning, and now I have moved all the way to being a CS. Almost 14 years later, he's still stagnating in the same position. So it is a very real situation faced by many of these public officers, and we have recently just finished a training for the SECs, about 800 of them, and you will see their promotions happening in the soon, as we promised them. So the process is working on, and once that is done, we'll revisit for the chiefs and the assistant chiefs. Again, they have the same level of complaints that the SCCs are having. And also, that was the case for the DCCs, which is now being sorted. And you know it was also the case for the county commissioners, which they have just finished their interviews. I think the last lot is finishing this week, so that then they have been acting as county commissioners for far too long. So again, this is just an area that required some reorganization, and we are doing our best to make sure that it is properly organized and that they are being taken care of, even as they take care of our concerns as citizens of this republic.
Update on the units that we had agreed that we are ready to operationalize?
It's actually when we give the report tomorrow, it should also include the ones that were funded for this financial year, which already we have posted some of the. Where it was easy was to post the DCCs and SCCs, and then now we have to hire for the chiefs and the assistant chiefs. Again, Mr. Chair, now that
agreed the issue of SCCs and DCCs because there is no recruitment,
yes,
and no extra budget per se, apart from AIE.
Yeah.
We fast track them. We're supposed to have almost this.
Mr. Chair, we are doing that, but it's very serious when you send someone to Mukutani, for example, which we have already done, and he has no office where he's going to operate on, or you have sent that person to a place called Koloa, which we have done, but he has no office, he has no vehicle, but because of especially in the security areas, there has been concern that let's just have the officer. So you send them, you don't have AIE, you don't have a car, and you don't have an office. That's why we've done it, because it's easy to do it for the ACCs and DCCs, but it doesn't mean that that the problems have gone away. We'll have to revisit the issue of the vehicles and the AIE. Otherwise, you can send somebody and then he goes, sits in the office there and is unable to go to the field. This is my personal request, and a ministry request actually. It's not only personal, that if we work closely with as yourselves as patrons of the NGCDF and the NGCDF board, we should support, in some cases, minimal infrastructure to enable these officers to have a place they can operate from. And some constituents are already doing the same, and it's helping us to make great progress, even as we jointly look for resources for this infrastructure. The mobility issue, we can see what to do, but the conversation is ongoing with Treasury, and as it was promised, by July, August, we should be able to have some vehicles which have been leased, and then we can see, starting from the most needy areas, see how we can support our officers to go to the field. So the list of the ones we have already posted can be shared tomorrow, together with the other request that was made.
But I will kindly request to move to the next set of questions. I know these ones have got a lot of public interest. The other one may be specific. I'll just. So let's just get Masara 1 minute, then we take the next question in the order. So Mandugu, Chair, in case you want to step out.
Chair, on the issue of training, I have a proposal for the ministry. I know of chiefs who were employed almost 6-7 years ago who has never gone for any training. And that one, whatever they are giving to the public, to be honest, is substandard. You can devolve training in such a way that instead of all of them coming to School of Government in Nairobi, you can take them in counties where they are during holidays, where there are teachers training colleges. The instructor can come to those areas and then they can be trained. Actually, I'm very specific. In my area, I've wrote to you when I was in this committee last parliament, that I was ready to capacity, because we have money in the CDF for capacity building, and chiefs and assistant chiefs are part of our PMCs, you are to bring them to my place. I've never gotten a response to the same. Because in my area, I know chiefs who have been trained the way they handle their work, and the untrained one where there is a gap. So you need to roll this thing down, not because of lack of resources, the government may not train them at the right time at the School of Government. But the lecturers at School of Government, at times they lack what to do. You can have an arrangement with the county so that you can train these chiefs and assistant chiefs at the local level. It will be less expensive but very effective. That's my proposal, Chair.
Two things that we can take from the Honorable Masara. First of all, the schools, the School of Government is already, we are in conversation with School of Government to decentralize the training. Because if you have about 13,000 chiefs and assistant chiefs, it will be unwise to bring all of them to Nairobi, to APTC for the training. So already the process is ongoing for decentralization. Maybe then, if, which is the second part of your request, if we know that we have a request from a member of parliament who has some resources and is willing to be deployed for training of chiefs, then we can work on a curriculum where the people training is ourselves. I mean, the standard, whatever, the ministry itself, and then the resources can be channeled in an agreed manner, to say it will go to School of Government so that they can buy 1, 2, 3, 4, or they can meet accommodation, and then the training and the training curriculum can be done. That partnership, I don't see anything wrong with it. We're already partnering in building police stations. We are building together administrative units. Training for the chiefs will be very, very much welcomed. I think let's just work on the curriculum, how it will look like, and the accountability for the same. Yeah, that's all.
Question straight to the warriors and the rest. I know this one's specific to individual counties as opposed to the chiefs.
Maybe in the Senate. I've answered this question before. Mr. Chair, the Honourable Chairperson, members of the committee, the Member of Parliament for Garsen constituency, Honorable Ali Wario has requested a statement of the fatal shooting of Mr. Isaac Abdullah Jarso by KWS officer. The honorable member particularly sought to be informed on the status of the investigation into the killing of Mr. Isaac Abdullah Jarso, excuse me, and steps taken to apprehend the officers involved. Reasons for the shooting to death of Mr. Isaac Abdullah Jarso by KWS officers. Action taken to prevent further confrontation between KWS personnel and local herders to avoid similar tragic incidents. Measures to enhance good cooperation and relationship between the law enforcement agencies, local communities, and other stakeholders to avoid escalation of such incidents in the future. I wish to state as follows, Mr. Chair, a very long statement, but I also want to confirm that I have engaged the Member of Parliament on this particular issue in his county, in our recent visit to the county, and I appreciate the engagement we had. Mr. Chair, and this, of course, I must answer for the record for Parliament. First, part one, Mr. Chair, the status of the investigations. On 29 December 2024, on approximately 10:30 hours, a contingent of 23 Kenya Wildlife Service Rangers embarked on an operation to remove cattle and others who had allegedly settled inside Savo East National Park. During the operations, the Rangers encountered Isaac Abdullah Jarso, now deceased, his family and friends at his Manyata. When the Rangers attempted to arrest the deceased, an altercation ensued, escalating into physical confrontation between him, his friends, and the Rangers. This confrontation resulted in the fatal shooting of Isaac Abdullah Jarso. At 10:45 hours, the incident was reported to Garsen Police Station by the area sub-chief of Kone sublocation, Mr. Said Omar, Vide OP number 18/29/12/2024. Officers from the Kone Police Post responded promptly and found the lifeless body of Isaac Abdullah Jarso, a 42-year-old male lying in a pool of blood in his home compound. The body had gunshot wounds on the upper right thigh. Investigations commenced under inquiry number 4 of 2024 of DCI Delta, with officers documenting evidence at the scene, recovering 4 spent cartridges at the scene,